So let's get to the issues for today and my guest, Abdul Malik Kwekubaku, editor-in-chief of the New Crusading Guide newspaper. He's a regular panelist, and today he's the odd one in the panelists.
Very comfortable, though.
Comfortable, he says. In the studio is Joyce Bawa Muktari. She's a lawyer and special aide to former President John Dramani Mahama. Also here in the studio is Esla Owusu Ekufo, the MP for Ablekuma West and the Minister of Communications. We'll be joined shortly by Madame Mona Korte, former Deputy Minister of Finance. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Newsfile.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, so I wanted us to start briefly by just getting your brief comments about the presidential encounter with the media, which has been, as it were, described by experts, including the Media Foundation for West Africa, as the worst ever. And some other media persons are not happy at all about it. There were over 100 journalists who were there. Out of that number, some 70 of them had put down their names to ask questions. Out of the 70, only 15 had the opportunity, or 14 had the opportunity to ask questions. The program started 30 minutes late because the president was late. Then he took 40 minutes or more to deliver a speech, some describe as a State of the Nation address, that he shouldn't have done in the first place because he took the time of the journalists. And then the journalists began to ask the questions. Just a little over an hour, 14 of them, and they are not happy about it. Why? But we are in the mood, Christmas. From here, I'm getting ready, getting my family ready. We are going to the Legon Botanical Gardens. I don't know about you. Any special plans for the Christmas? Yes, Esla?
Good morning to your listeners and viewers.
You're welcome.
And it's a pleasure to be back on
Right.
Newsfile.
You've been working all year.
I am exhausted. My only plan for Christmas is to sleep, put my feet up, catch up on my reading. And, well, the few odd people who would come and visit me would be welcome.
Right.
But my plans for Christmas are to shut my door and curl up with a
And
good
get a
book.
deserving rest.
I need
Okay.
it. Those are my plans.
Oh, what Christmas it will be. How about Joyce?
Well, Merry Christmas to your viewers and, of course, to you and your family. As always, I think Christmas in my household will be a family affair. Not necessarily because of parties or anything, but just time to spend time together with our kids and our partners, simply to unwind. And of course, we all know the hardships that are currently engulfing many Ghanaian homes. So I'll be sharing my widow's mite also with the good people of Ghana. That will be Christmas for me.
Okay. So I should have asked, what's your wish for Ghanaians for Christmas?
You know, there's so much that we take for granted. And I don't know why, but this year more than any other, our mortality has been brought home to me in a very practical way. And largely because of the death of Honorable Chematin Ejako, who happens to be my roommate. We share an office in Parliament and a very good friend. And we had spoken very recently, and yes, I knew he was unwell, but I thought he was on the mend, and so his demise came as a huge shock to me. I think we need to be thankful for our lives, our health, our strength, our
the little
friends,
mercies.
and the little mercies that we have. There is so much that we have to be thankful for, but we do focus on the negative so much that we forget that we're the recipients of so many blessings. So this Christmas, I would urge all of us to just do a little bit of introspection. Look back at the many, many, many bountiful blessings that we have received and continue to receive.
All right.
And thank the Lord for it, because it is just by His grace that we are here. And not focus so much on the negatives. We smile, we get out of bed every morning. We have friends, we chat, we can read, we can see, we walk. All those are blessings you can't quantify, you know, but which we disregard because we take so much. We're free. We can walk in and out at any time and enjoy fellowship with one another.
The psalmist says that you count your blessings, you name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done.
Absolutely. Okay. I would want us to do a lot more of that, and we would see that we're really, really blessed. Truly, truly blessed.
Joyce, what's your Christmas wish for Ghanaians?
Well, I'd wish for us all long life, prosperity, above all, a better life. That I pray for a lessening of the ongoing hardships on the good people of Ghana. I pray for better years ahead. And I do know that most often than not, when we sit where we sit, we tend to forget that many people are not as blessed as we are. For all those unfortunate ones who do not have as much as we have, who may be thankful to God for everything else, but are not as lucky as we are. I wish them a very Merry Christmas. I hope that whatever contributions that I would be making to their lives will be something that will go a long way to help them. Indeed, there is hardship in Ghana. Let's not pretend that it does not exist. But thankful we are. At liberty we are. Freedoms we enjoy. But we do need to have a better life too. And so I wish you all a Merry Christmas. And thank you for having me.
Right, Madam Mulankote, what are you doing for Christmas? And what's your wish?
Thank you very much, Samson, and good morning to everyone here and at home. A very Merry Christmas to all of you. My wish is that, like I heard you say, that we'll count our blessings one by one, and thank God for a peaceful country. That together we've all made this country very peaceful. We can enjoy each day. I mean, I'm just grateful to wake up every morning. And I think I heard Esla say she's exhausted and she's just going to curl up and enjoy Christmas quietly. I think that's what I'm going to do too with my family. I'm just going to chill out with the kids and rest. It's been a tough year for everyone. And I guess, like we spoke about during the week, implementing policies are always tough. And it's tough on all sides. And I'm sure most Ghanaians are going to have to budget this Christmas, seriously. So that's what I'm going to do too. Stay on budget and try and enjoy the little that we can.
All right. Yes, Kwaku?
Christmas?
Yes, well, but first I invite all of you to the party in the park at the Legon Botanical Gardens. It starts about 10 a.m. and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Today?
And some of us will be Father Christmas. We'll just give out gifts. Yes, Kwaku?
Well, I met Christmas with New Year, the end of year. Truly, yes. It's more
of a way of doing your Christmas ahead of the Christmas.
Yes, this is more of a family affair, to be honest with you. And we'll be out of space in this coming on programs and things. You'll not be seeing me till February ending. So that tells you I really want to rest, you know, revitalize myself physically and mentally and spiritually, like, you know. But yesterday I miscalculated and found myself at Oxford Street. And I was shocked.
Traffic.
I began to wonder whether this is indeed a dry Christmas.
So you've not been in town in the last 2-3 days?
I hardly go out, to be honest. To be honest with you, I'm restricted to Laboni and Spintex area. You know? But yesterday I miscalculated. I was looking for some item and I went to Oxford Street. It was incredible. So I asked myself, this couldn't be a dry Christmas. Ghanaians are magicians. Even when we are suffering, we'll be able to deal with the situation.
In the last 3 or so days, I have left court before 12. And the traffic I've had to navigate to get back to the office has been...
That's a sign of some activity. Not necessarily prosperity. But it's activity.
Which is usual around this time.
And yes.
So what makes this one
that's the point I'm making.
So
you don't translate that into so many things. I'm not inclined to exaggerate.
Okay,
but nobody can tell me that Ghanaians out there are not shopping for Christmas. They are.
Right. So, Kuku, I start with you on the president's encounter with the media. Do you agree that this was abysmal? And there are actually some of the journalists who are saying they expected better from particularly Kojo Nkrumah, and they are blaming him rather that he's failed. Mustafa Hamid did a better job than he did.
The last time I checked, there has been no presidential media encounter in the Fourth Republic that had not attracted criticism relative to the format, time frame, number of questions asked, even the quality of questions asked and the quality of answers provided. The last time I checked, and I've been around for a very long time.
But it appears though that this has attracted special attention.
Oh no, go back and do a check. Read the media, go back and check. Say, okay, or it depends on who is talking, or talking more loudly, talking, making noise. Go out there and check. I've attended only about 3 or 4. I attended 2 under Kufuor, 1 under Mills, and none under President Mahama, and I haven't attended any under President Akufo-Addo. I don't intend to. My reporters do that, and then they come to report. Occasionally you get a chance to watch playbacks, the TV or the radio, and in this particular case, I didn't have much time to listen to it from beginning to the end. If I couldn't watch TV, but radio, because of if you're in the vehicle, you could tune in and all the rest. So if we are coming to talk about quality of questions and answers, those that I heard, I can make an assessment of them.
Yeah, so very briefly.
No, but if you are talking about the time, there's never been a time that any of us have been satisfied with the time frame. There's never been a time, you know. So I believe that it's important for the organizers. I'm told this time they brought in GJ. I didn't know about that.
Yes, GJA played a coordinating role in inviting.
Because that was out of an earlier critique.
Okay.
You know, that the GJA not being part of it was part of the problem. So include them. Now, so it meant that the GJA was part of the organizers, or if you like, those who put it out there.
Okay.
You know, I think those organizers, those who organized it, in this case the Ministry of Information, should listen to all the criticism in good faith and then proceed on that basis. The fact that they are not new is immaterial.
Okay.
The criticism keep coming, listen to them, see how best you can fine-tune subsequent programs. Otherwise, I'm not one of those who talks about the president stood for 3 hours, answered all questions on his own, which is actually not very true. There are other presidents who called on other ministers to
Should he have done over 40 minutes of a speech before, you know, taking questions
depending on
and preempting the journalists?
No, I would have done 15 minutes. I would have preferred 15 minutes. Those are criticism. It's okay. And I'm saying it's not new.
Okay.
I would have done 15 minutes.
Right.
And then allow the journalists more space, time and space. That's fair.
Right.
That kind of criticism is not mischievous. It's legitimate. Okay, but I'm saying it is not new.
Right.
And if I knew you were going to subject me to this
I would have brought a preliminary.
Yes, I would have brought you publications.
Okay.
From Kufuor to now. Some even say Kufuor was inarticulate. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
They said Kufuor was inarticulate. He couldn't talk, he couldn't argue, he couldn't debate, he couldn't do anything. And Kufuor was doing both meet the press as well as the public assemblies, if you remember, the People's Assembly rather. You know? So these things are okay.
All right. And how about this? The CSOs are quite angry that, you know, some of his comments, particularly that comment about the CSOs seeking to suggest that they were noisemakers, and rather he is focused and not, you know, will not be perturbed by the constant criticism. Was quite insulting. And
was he insulting indeed? Was it? Have you listened to it? I didn't know about that. I didn't hear that till I saw on social media, so I decided to track. And I saw a playback. I watched the playback. I didn't find it insulting. Okay. It may have been harsh. But the civil society organizations, and I love them, they criticize every day. Yeah. They bring alternatives every day. What authorities should do is to listen to them. It doesn't mean I there's an injunction on the authorities relative to criticizing civil society.
All right.
What kind of democracy are we seeking to build?
Thank you.
Are civil society groups over and above critique?
Okay, thank you. Now
if it's not insulting,
part
that's
of the criticism, you know, beyond the timing, and as in some of the journalists say, you wasted our time, is that if you have been inviting the CSOs and you have chosen to describe them in the terms that you have done, then it means what you've been doing is tokenism. You don't really believe in bringing them together and sharing ideas with you.
Well, thank you very much. I do think that the Fourth Republic, as Mr. Bako said, has actually been characterized largely by various presidents at different times, engaging the media, engaging various spheres of society on different occasions and to address various issues. I particularly followed this one because a lot of anticipation had been created. There had been some foregoing issues in the days running up to the event. I also recall that we had been informed formally that His Excellency the President had been on various trips and yet had arrived to address this particular encounter. Indeed, the time had to be scheduled from morning to evening to accommodate his arrival.
Right.
All in all, I think certainly some criticism will always accompany his performances or these engagements. I think fair criticism is fair. I think some criticism may not necessarily be fair. I think that when you actually campaign and you are elected into office to lead a country, you also owe us a certain modicum of respect. That if you perform in one way or the other, if you engage and people express some level of dissatisfaction, I think it shows a bit more maturity to just probably accept the criticism in good faith and then we move on. We live in a democratic dispensation where we have amazing media freedoms. People will criticize even the way you dress and the way you walk, more so when you are in the limelight and you are a public figure, and especially when you are an individual whose life has been so public. Probably for all of my life, our current president has been in politics. So certainly this is an individual whose performances, irrespective, would definitely attract a lot of criticism, would generate enormous interest, and of course, people would be curious to hear what it is that he has to say. I would say, and I think I agree entirely with many voices that I've heard, that the performance was below par. That the president is someone who actually has a gift of the gab. He speaks very well. He's usually very decorous in his language. He's always on top of his brief. I think that, yes, he's operating under enormous pressure, having made many promises. There have been several counter claims to his promises. Yes, deliverables have also been a challenge and a tough call. And I would always be a bit more charitable and say that leading a country such as ours, with so many diverse voices, is always a very difficult opportunity. Okay. And I like the part where he actually brought a certain human face to the whole discussion when he said he worked very hard for his office at the Jubilee House. Right. Some level of humility is also important, irrespective of what you've achieved in your life. Okay. So I think if he admits how hard he worked together, then he also owes us a bit more patience, a level of tolerance, more explanation, and of course we should be demanding, considering the taxpayers actually did not only put him in Flagstaff House or Jubilee House, but keep him there and also take good care of him.
Right. Thank you.
I think that the criticisms are welcome. I think the president could have done better. I have actually heard him do better. Yes, there have been many criticisms at all times, but I think more than ever, the voices are very loud this time.
Thank you.
And we all watched what happened.
Right. Thank you. Esther, and he made some of you answer some of the questions, and some say it was an encounter with you, the #1 man, the commander-in-chief. So what is it? And a question was asked. He said the minister is not available. You know, she's not here. And so I'm unable to assist you, but we'll get you an answer later. Some felt that was not good. He was not on top of his brief, as he should.
I believe that we have all seen a number of press meet the press briefings by various presidents over the years. And not one of them has gone without criticism. So it is as if the media appears to be a very hard taskmaster and difficult to please. So no matter how you try to accommodate their concerns, you will always fall short because they hold people to an impossible standard, judging by their comments on the various press briefings by the various presidents of the Fourth Republic. But I think it's a very useful encounter that we continue to have with our presidents. And this president, Nana Akufo-Addo, insists that he'll have 2 in a year and barely made it. And I know that he had returned from a trip to Vienna and Paris at 3 a.m. that same day. And that necessitated the change of, and he had meetings that day as well, so that necessitated the adjustment of the schedule. So I thought even that alone, and he's a 74-year-old man, let's not forget that. He may be the most energetic and, how do I put it? He has a lot of energy. And,
admittedly, presidents and the people who work within presidents definitely do quite a lot of work, almost as if 24/7 they are working. But it is they who decided the day and the time. It's not the media that imposed it on them. So you decide it should be in the morning of the day, then you change that decision. If you still are not ready to do, justice to the 70 questions that were to be asked, why don't you postpone it? Why do you come in and then act as if you're in a hurry and truncate the process at the 15th question, 14th question?
He has said so from
no female was given the opportunity to ask a question too. That's not good.
The president has said so from inception that he is in a hurry. And we all need to recognize the fact that he is a man in a hurry. He has a lot of tasks to accomplish within a very short time. And so as I was saying, he did have to change the time for the engagement because of schedules that he couldn't avoid. And he was determined to also have this engagement with the media before the end of the year. And he had looked at his diary and realized that apart from that day, there was no other time that he could slot it in. And
so he shows up 30 minutes late, and he spends 45 minutes of their time doing a speech.
If you just allow me, since you're moderating this program.
Thank you.
Please. Thank you. No matter how challenging his day was or the end of the year was, he was determined to have this engagement with the media. And I think that's commendable. So showing up 30 minutes late, it all shows how difficult it was to meet this commitment that he had made to the media. And to describe him in terms of being intolerant, disrespectful, and all that, that's not the relationship he's had with the media. And let's not forget that if for anything at all, this media pluralism, space, freedom that we're enjoying today is largely because of his efforts in repealing the criminal libel.
There's no doubt he played a pivotal role. But you may be wrong to say largely because of his efforts.
Oh, this pluralism, this vibrancy, this freedom that the media is enjoying today is largely because of the repeal of the criminal libel. I don't think we're going to argue about that. Without that impediment being removed, we would still be living largely under the culture of silence.
Okay, we won't debate that.
We've come a very long way. Okay. Let's not quibble about that. And well, maybe it might be difficult for some people to admit that he's played a major role in facilitating the growth of the media landscape in this country. He was determined to meet with the media. And I think that he wanted to paint brushstrokes, broad strokes, set the agenda, set the tone for the conversation in telling the assembled media how much work had been done within the year. And I think he did an amazing job, demonstrated that he was fully on top of his brief,
okay,
and touched on many key areas. There's one thing that I want to talk about. 70 questions. There were 15 in
14.
an hour.
Yes.
14 in an hour. So if we were to take all the 70, he would have been there for 4 hours. And I think that's a bit much to ask. And this isn't the end of the engagement. The man has indicated that he intends to meet the media twice every year. And that's some, I think that's some...
If you want to do it, you do it well.
He intends to do it, and he will do it. But who determines whether it is good or not? Like I'm saying, the media appears to be a very hard taskmaster. You set different standards for everybody, and none of them can ever meet it. But I think the quality of the questions and his responses were spot on. And asking ministers to contribute to answers, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Because they're there. They are the ones who are directly dealing with those briefs. He may not have all the information at that time. And it is honest of him to admit that on this particular point, I don't have the answers. The people who are directly working on these issues are there. So let them supply the answers. Is it just the interaction with the president that the media wants? Or they want responses to the questions that they've asked? And I believe it is educating all of us, providing the answers. That is why that forum is created. So let's cut him some slack. I think he did an excellent job.
Let's
from
hear
where I sit.
Let's hear Mona. This is supposed to be a preliminary comment, very brief. So we'll move on and go to Oslo and see how much it costs to get a chancery.
Thank you, Samson. I think much has already been said, but the presidential press meeting is always an important one for those of us sitting at home and listening and wanting to know and get some answers. So I want to continue from where Esla ended, that it was about the kind of answers that were given at the place that was important. To be honest with you, the feedback that the president spoke too long, I think should be taken in good faith and then, you know, reconsidered in the next meeting. It was a valid point. There were very good questions from the media. I think that I want to commend the media. They asked very good questions. I think that the whole thing was organized very well. I also commend the Minister for Information, Kojo. He did a great job. I like the way he lined up the media men. The main thing, and Esla just hit on it at the end, is that I thought that the responses were too casual. We were not given answers.
But I don't think
and that is too important. I mean, no, what I'm saying is she was saying that that's the most important thing. And that is where the failure came, Esla. We didn't get the answers. There was a very casual way of responding to the questions that came up. The questions were very important for all of us. These were all very current things that we needed to know about. How is this health ministry warehouse thing going? What's happening to it? The minister did come and answer, but it didn't really get to us being satisfied with that answer. When the issue came up about the cyber crimes in the Zongo districts, I think that the minister did a great job explaining what had been said, but he didn't answer until you came in and talked about some of the actions that were being actually, you know, the action plan, the awareness and all that. The rest of the questions, the rest of the questions were not answered properly. I think that the president also was a little casual. It could be that, like Esla is saying, he was tired, but that is no excuse. This is an important thing for those of us who want to get answers. So I think you should take the criticisms in good faith and let that reflect in the next presidential press meeting so that we do get the answers that we want to hear. This is the first time for me that I've heard such negative comments after the presidential press conference. Usually it was fantastic, most questions were answered. So this is the first time, and it's not for lack of knowledge or not being able to speak. President Akufo-Addo is definitely one that is good at that. But I think the answers got lost in the casualness.
Well, just one comment I'll share from Prince. He says that I think next time what we can adopt is this strategy I suggest. Allowing 3 media men, you mean men and women, and you have chosen some 3 people, all men. That's not good.
We will not
for
allow
them
that.
to sit with the presidents and ask the questions. At least they would have asked more questions and also received messages from the other media people to assist in the process. Okay, so Fifi Adau sent in that one to us. Well,
but he does the one-on-ones as well with the various...
It may be a good thing, but for as long as there's no opportunity to follow up on the questions you ask, I don't really see the point of these presidential encounters. We'll take a break, return straight to Oslo to check how much it costs to get a chancery. Is it $16 million or 3? We'll be right back.